Baruch atah asherah anat malecha ha'olam asher kiddushani ve'etzotav v'tzivani lehitatif hatzitzit. Good morning. Good morning, Batya. How are you doing? You're doing great. Wow. That's really nice to hear. Hello, Rose. How am I feeling? I don't know. How am I feeling? I was supposed to have a therapy appointment in 15 minutes, and my therapist canceled, and I'm feeling a little sad about it. But I'm, like, basically fine. I'm gonna go for a long walk today. I don't have any work scheduled to do today, so I'm taking the day off. And I am not sure how I feel about it. I feel several things. Good morning, Pamela. How are you? And Ghost? How are you? Walking is therapy. I suppose that's true. Good morning, Sophia. Nice to see you. Good morning, Sarah. Good morning, Omar David Romero Pay. That's a great name. Not many people on TikTok put so many formal names in there like that. I'm into it. Just crawling into bed? What? Were you up all night? And yet, you know what's not new, Buttflakes? The fact that every day I show up here and I'm wearing one color. That's very predictable. I like monochromes. Your kid's out of school today for a job interview. What are they interviewing for? I hope they get it. No sleep on the weekends. God damn. That sounds hard. Kudos. Kudos for your perseverance. Good morning, Jenny. Good morning, Jenny. It's been a while. It's nice to see you. It's good to see you too, Ghost. Lifeguarding. It's summertime, huh? Time to guard people's lives in the waters. $10 points for originality, Negative 10,000 points for being a troll. Good job, though. Haven't come across you in a long while. You know, I'm here every day, but the ways of the TikTok algorithm are vast and mysterious. I'm doing pretty good. Excuse me. I have a bit of a cough, as you can see. Well, I'm going to come back soon. I have this to-do list. I made a to-do list yesterday. My partner was commenting on it because it's a little bit silly. It has things like tattoo your feet and drill hole in jaws and antlers. Make more art on the tree behind you. I'm making art now. I have free time. I'm going to make some art. And I'm going to do the stuff that isn't video work first, because I know that once I start making films, the algorithm's going to grab me, right? And I'm going to get those dopamine hits of the numbers, and I'm going to feel an obligation to post very regularly. And right now I do not have the don't have the stability, mental stability, internal emotional stability to actually commit to posting regularly. I need to have a time of no commitments for a little bit, but probably won't last long because I have this like productivity virus in my brain saying that my life is not useful unless I'm making things. So I'm probably going to start making films really soon, like really, really soon. Maybe next week. School is over for me, Jenny. I graduated like a week ago. Good morning, Olivia. Nice to see you. No commitment. Yes, I have no commitments currently. So I have to figure out how I want to be occupying my time. So today I'm going to go for a long walk up the mountain, say some words at the top of the mountain, and then I'm going to come back and I'm going to tattoo my feet. You're a great cheerleader, Buttflakes. Thank you. So, should we say some old words? I think it's time to say some old words. High or old am I? I'm 32. On my feet, I'm doing my own tattoos. This one was done by a friend, and I'm gonna be getting a tattoo of the Tree of Life on my other hand, by a professional. But my feet, it's a larger tattoo, and it's a much simpler pattern, and so I'm teaching myself how to do it. And I'm not terribly good. Right, like I can't draw consistent lines at all. My lines are pointillist and fuzzy. But I'm learning, and it's a cool art form to be learning. Yeah. That's my notification that I have an appointment in 10 minutes, but I don't, because she canceled. No, I'm just doing stick and pokes. Just little boop, boop, boop. Yeah, because it's simple. It's this pattern. I'm getting this pattern on my feet. I'm growing this pattern on my feet. And every day I do like an inch or two, like very minimal. Like I'll tattoo myself for like 20 minutes, half an hour. And then I do it again the next day and the next day. And eventually it'll grow up my calf. I'll show you. Right now I've got socks on. And it's actually surprisingly difficult to show people your feet on camera. It's on the top of my feet, both feet. Yeah, like I have to like move the camera to. All right, fine. Why not? What else am I doing? What else am I gonna do? Am I gonna melt? Okay, here we are. Yes, it hurts, but like not that badly. I want to flip. Okay. So, this is the work I've been doing. You can see it's varying in quality. So, my friend Andy did this trunk, and my friend Ananda did this trunk. And then my surgeon friend Liz did these branches here, and you can see that the line work is a little bit shakier than the center. The center was quite good. And then the tips of both trees, these ones and these ones, I have done over the last month or so. And like, it's messy. It's really like I don't have, if you look at like these are good lines, good consistent lines, not so good. Right? The tips are fuzzier cuz I don't know what I'm doing. Very good lines, not so good. But like you can't really tell if you look at it from far away. If you look at it from like, the way that most people are no most people aren't like looking at my feet this close. So from this position they look fine, so it's okay for me to not know how to make straight lines. Yeah, what is a mythologer? That's a good question, Mom. Mythologer, I'm poking fun at myself, right? I have a PhD, and I'd like to say I have a PhD in evolutionary mythology, but I don't. PhD in something, in trees, in evolutionary tree shapes, right? Like, I think this shape is really important, like deeply important, and I think it's important because like not only are actual trees shaped like this, but also the patterns that structure your life and the patterns that structure your ideas, right? And literally the way that you think, right? Like you could call these dendrites and neurons and axons, right? It's a pattern that shows up all over nature for reasons. And I try to track that in our mythology. And I spelled it mythologer because I can't take myself too seriously. Otherwise I would have to get off TikTok, Um, like Joseph Campbell was a mythologer, right? So I have to add an extra syllable to show that I'm not a professional. The tree, the brain, the heart, the lungs. Yes, indeed. I'm not gonna do any blossoms, butt flicks. It's just gonna be black lines, just like this. Yes, they call it symmetry across scale, right? That would be the mathematical term for it. The part resembles the whole, and a whole resembles the part, right? Like I think this is the pattern that all life takes, in some form or another. I am from the eastern coast of the United States. How much more do I have to go? Oh, so much more. I'm gonna like do my entire calf. It's gonna go all the way up. I have to shave my legs before I do that. But like right now, my goal is to get down to the toes, right? So I'm gonna do all the toes, and then I'll go in the other direction. Yeah. Shit is always a little bit off. It's wonderful. Yeah, I'm no professional tattoo artist. I'm just poking myself every little bit every day. I'll get better, right? Like, but also like I wouldn't be willing to do this for most depictions of things, right? Like it's a very specific pattern that I want on my feet. And it's a pattern that is quite resistant to error. I've made so many errors already, and then I can just sort of fix them or like nudge them away, because the pattern is organic and it grows very slowly, right? So it's not as if I make a mistake in one part, it like messes up the whole, because that's the pattern is resilient like that. So it's a really great structure to learn on, learn how to do things, and maybe after I do all of that, I'll be better with my line work and I could do something more precise in a different location. But I don't think I will. I think that's the maximum tattooing that I want on my body. Anyway, hi, blah, blah, blah. Good morning, Queen. It's time for some words. I always get distracted. Okay. Shema Yisrael Asher Eloheinu Yahweh Echad. Vahafta et anat Elohecha ובכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודך ויחיוך הדברים האלה אשר נוחים מצווך היום על לבביך ושיננתם לבניך ודיברת בם בשבתך בביתך ולכתך בדרך ובשכבך ובקומך וקשרתם לאות על ידיך ויחיו לטוטפות בין עיניך וכתבת חכם על מזוזות ביתך ובישעריך. Vichaya. Ki v'achayo Elohecha el ha'arz asher nispai levatecha le'avram nischach ol Yaakov v'tetlach avrim gedolot v'tavot asher lo vanita uvati mili'im kotuva asher lo mileta uverot hatzuvim asher lo hazatva ki arim bizitim asher lo natata ve'alachta v'shavata hishamelecha penishchach et Yahweh asher tishacha mi'eretz Mitzrayim mibet avadim. When Yahweh Eloheinu brings you into the land that he swore to your fathers Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob to assign to you, great and flourishing cities that you did not build, houses full of all good things you did not fill, hewn cisterns that you did not hew, vineyards and olive groves that you did not plant, and you eat your fill. Take heed that you do not forget Yahweh, who freed you from the land of Egypt, the house of bondage. Hebrew is the language. Right? And there's this pretty remarkable story about Hebrew. Hebrew was a dead language in that it was a liturgical language and nobody spoke it natively 200 years ago. And then the Holocaust happened and Zionism happened and the British Empire gave Jewish people from around the world this like tiny sliver of land if they could fight for it. And so they fought for it, and they occupied some houses that they didn't build. And then they were from all over the world, and what do? They're like, oh, well, we need to be able to communicate to each other. What should we do? Let's start talking in Hebrew. That's what we all have in common. And the language rose from the dead. Right? Rose from the dead on the ashes of other people's homes. A new language, an old language, came to exist, alive once more. Yeah, I'm talking about history. I don't know. Did I tell that story reasonably well? Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. Like, it's just, like, how do you tell a story about the resurrection of a language? It's the only time in history. Jesus did not speak Hebrew. He spoke Aramaic. I'm pretty sure. But, yes, the resurrection of Hebrew is the only time in history that a formerly living language came to be, like, natively fluent again, came to be evolving again and changing, right? Hebrew has all these English loanwords in it now, right? It's the only language in the world that's done that, right? And why did it do that? Because incredible violence. Incredible violence. No, the resurrection of Hebrew was an explicitly Zionist activity, right? Like, people started, like, because there were all of these different European languages, the Jewish diaspora, right? There were Jews from all over the world. And when the Zionist movement started, they knew that they needed a lingua franca. And so there was all of these educational initiatives to teach Jews Hebrew. Because in like 1820, there were no native Hebrew speakers in the world. But by 1920, there were many. And by 2020, there's millions. Yeah. Yeah, so language can rise from the dead, but only if you make a bunch of dead first. That's the TLDR version. Shall we read Gilgamesh? Bacha, did I say it wrong? What's your relationship to Hebrew? Hebrew is your first language, right? No. You were born in Canada. Hebrew is not your first language. What order did you learn your languages in, Bacha? And how do you feel about it? So, where we left off, Gilgamesh had rejected Ishtar. Gilgamesh rejected Ishtar. Your Hebrew is not so good. Oh, here I was assuming you were fluent. Interesting. You find it fine to go about your daily life in Israel without having the best Hebrew? So, what happened in the last chapter was, after Gilgamesh killed Humbaba and cut down the giant cedars, NP, no problem, Ishtar's like, oh man, look at those shafts. I'm impressed. Will you marry me? And he's like, no, bitch. I know that you've got the powerful pussy, but I'll die if I do that. So he rejects Ishtar, and Ishtar gets really angry, and she's like, well, fine, I'm going to bring down the Bull of Heaven to wreak havoc, but it's not a very powerful Bull of Heaven, apparently, because Gilgamesh is able to just grab it by the horns and kill it. So that's what he does. Gilgamesh kills the Bull of Heaven, and then he enters the city of Uruk to celebrate. And now we're going to read about the celebration, I believe. Tablet 7. My friend, why were the great gods in council? And then our narrator, the translator, rather, says, according to a Hittite version, see page 163, Enkidu sees the gods Anu, Enlil, Ea, and Shamash in council. Anu decrees that because Enkidu and Gilgamesh killed the bull and cut the cedars, one of them must die. Enlil, perhaps grateful for the cedar doors, decides that it should be Enkidu. Thanks, Enlil. Shamash considers this unfair, but Enlil overrules him. When the standard version resumes, Enkidu is cursing the cedar door. The concluding words of his curse parody traditional Mesopotamian inscriptions affixed to monuments, which called for the wrath of the gods upon anyone who damaged, removed, or usurped the monument. Enkidu is going to die by divine decree. My time in the light is done. Enkidu's time in the light is done. Enkidu raised his voice in horror. He spoke to the door as if it were human. O bosky door, insensate, which lends an ear that is not there. I sought your wood for 20 double leagues, till I beheld a lofty cedar. No rival had your tree in the forest. 6 times 12 cubits was your height. 2 times 12 cubits was your width. 1 cubit was your thickness. Your hinge pole, ferrule, and pivot box were unique. I made you, I brought you to Nippur, I set you up. Had I known, O door, how you would requite me, and that this your goodness towards me, I would have raised my axe, I would have chopped you down, I would have floated you as a raft to the temple of Shamash. I would have brought you into the temple of Shamash. I would have set the cedar in the temple of Shamash. So he's in the temple of Enlil right now, and Shamash is like, I'ma kill you. But he should have, no, that's the other way around. Shamash thinks it's unfair. And Enlil's going to kill him, but he's in Enlil's palace. Interesting. God, these gods, they're capricious. Anyway, so Enkidu is doomed to death, and he's cursing the cedar doors that he went with Gilgamesh to go find. That's the summary. I would have raised my axe, I would have chopped you down, I would have floated you as a raft to the temple of Shamash. I would have brought you into the temple of Shamash. I would have set up the cedar in the temple of Shamash. I would have set up the lion-headed monster bird Anzu at its gate. So the Anzu bird's at the gate of Enlil and then tries to escape. We read that story about the Anzu bird. Hi.
You look like a widow.
A widow? Do you have dead animals for me?
Only one.
Only one. Only parts of one. Look at this fancy food.
Tell them how much you pay for that in a grocery store.
You can't buy this in a grocery store. You just can't. I mean, you could.
Town in Italy.
You could buy prosciutto in the grocery store for like $15 a pound or whatever, but it's not this.
It's even the cheap prosciutto.
Mm-hmm.
You can spend a lot of money on pork like that if you want.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess I do. In a way. Another way.
You devote your entire life to it.
I only paid $200 for that pig.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even have to do that.
This is really good.
For the record, I didn't buy that pig. I gave the farmer a free will offering.
A gift offering. An offering pleasing to the Lord.
An offering pleasing to the James, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
An unnegotiated offering.
Mm-hmm.
Which did happen to include some bills.
Mm-hmm.
But also included other things.
Yeah.
Like, probably jam?
It's like how in the marijuana dispensaries, you're actually just buying really nice glass bottles or stickers. Mm-hmm.
No, different, because that's negotiated. They tell you how much the glass bottle is.
Okay.
This pork farmer didn't tell me.
You just gave him some money, and then he gave you a pig.
Oh, I gave him a lot of things that weren't money too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like a clean bucket.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. I know what every farmer wants.
Almonds?
A new food grade bucket. And other high value things from our farm.
Yeah.
You got friends today?
Yeah, Will thinks that I look like a Sicilian widow.
See? You do look like a widow. Like a sexy widow.
Yeah.
I would marry that. She probably has a big inheritance from her last husband.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. It's not dumpster food, Mr. Jacob Toe. It's,
Yeah, he's legit.
yeah. One of people saying I was talking to you instead of,
Sorry.
That's okay. I was in the middle of reading Gilgamesh. Ankade was cursing the doors.
I came in and gave you ham.
Yeah. You're having a slow morning, huh?
Well, yeah, I'm gonna leave in like half an hour or something. I'm gonna go up and double check my animals. But yeah, like I don't have to be to work until noon, so.
There's a troll in here currently called Trans Holocaust Now. He's very powerful. With a name like that.
Name like that.
Very powerful troll.
I know exactly what you're talking about while you're here.
Yeah.
Oh, but she's so pretty.
I know. That's why I do this, because I can just be unapologetically vain, right? I can flirt with Will, and it's nice. Yes, Mr. Jacob Toe, you have been out-trolled. Your trolling is, inconsequential compared to the trans Holocaust. But, you keep coming around, and I smile at you. And, the genocidal internet thumbs, probably never see them again. So you win in terms of gathering my attention. You've achieved the parasocial interactions that you have craved.
What about me? What about me? Do I have your attention?
You do
Is it
have my
parasocial?
attention. No, it's quite social.
Oh. Can I have your parasocial attention? Not anymore.
No.
I did once.
Your reputation preceded you?
A little bit.
Yeah. See, Mr. Jacob Toe likes my attention. That's why I keep him around, because he's a good one.
So why you keep me around?
Yes!
Or is it because I'm making money?
No, I don't keep you around because you make me money.
What?
It's not to say that you don't make me money.
That's not why you keep me around.
No.
Your hands are cold.
Yeah, I'm cold right now. I'm, like, really cold. I should probably put on more clothing.
It's because your heater's off.
Yeah. Okay. You are a good one, Will. I like flirting with you. It's easy to get you flustered, and that makes me pleased.
Should I try being more flustered?
No, I don't want to fluster you. I want to fluster boys on the internet. Should I keep reading?
Yeah, I should go check the seedlings for
Okay.
her wife.
Okay. Trans Holocaust, you're not even the first person on the stream to ask to see my genitals. I told you, you're not very original.
As if genitals make the woman.
Uh-huh. Do you know how many times people have asked to see my genitals? Many. Many, many times. No, Will, you have never asked to see my genitals. That's true. Good morning, Kimmy. So we were just in the middle of reading about Enkidu cursing doors, but then we were threatened with the trans Holocaust, and so we had to respond to it with our attention and care. So, we can continue on. So Enkidu's like, if I had known that Enlil was going to punish me to death, I would have sent my cedar to Shamhash's temple instead, because Enlil is clearly not grateful. Remember the Anzu bird that he captured and put on his doorpost? And then the Anzu bird's like, hey, this sucks. I want to be a free bird in the mountains. And then Enlil sent a hero to kill it. Remember that story. All of these Mesopotamian stories about killing terrible natural monsters, that maybe you shouldn't have killed them. Maybe not. I would have set up the lion-headed monster bird Anzu at its gate. The way to you, I would have... Except, Enkidu has a boy voice. Excuse me. Then in Uruk, you, because Shamhash heard my plea, have gave me the weapon to kill Humbaba. Now then, O door, it was I who made you. It was I who set you up. I will tear you out. May a king who shall arise after me despise you. May conceal you. May he alter my inscription and put on his own. And it should be noted that those cedar doors, they're gone. Nowhere to be found. They've been burned up thousands of years ago. But Enkidu, we're still reading about Enkidu. So, you know, there's a little bit of immortality. Immortality through story. Immortality through funny ephemeral live streams. He tore out his hair. He threw away his clothing. When he heard out this speech, swiftly, quickly, his tears flowed down. When Gilgamesh heard out Enkidu's speech, swiftly, quickly, his tears flowed down. And we will end there, but I'll give you a little spoiler for what happens next. Gilgamesh comforts Enkidu by suggesting that death may be a greater burden for those left behind than for the deceased. Gilgamesh promises that he will make a magnificent funerary statue of his friend. Death is inevitable. It is foolish to complain. Don't worry that you're going to die. I'm going to make a big statue for you. I'm going to tell stories about you, and you will live forever and ever and ever. Why is that the response? Why do humans find that response to death satisfying? Like, I find it satisfying, right? Like, before I die, I want to make some sort of mark upon the world that people who live after me can experience and be impacted by. Like, that's what I want to do with my life. I don't necessarily want a big statue of myself. That's Donald Trump style. But, why is that our response, right? like, why is that so common? There's so many other ways to respond to death, right? The inevitability of it. Just to see yourself as impermanent and ephemeral. Accept it. Be like, yeah, I get to experience this part of life right now, and then when it's over, I'm done, and like that's okay. Like, I wish I had that attitude. But instead, I'm on live stream, pondering about what it means to live and die with all of you, because that's the only way I know how to live my life. Always tried to figure that out. Yeah, it's ponderous. Like, why are we the way that we are, right? If you don't leave a mark, does it matter? I mean, everything eventually is going to be wiped out by a solar explosion, solar flare anyway. Yeah. But I feel like I have to leave a mark, right? I feel like if I don't leave a mark, then I have no guiding narrative structure for why I do anything in the world. Death isn't the end. Christ is going to come and we're all going to live forever in heaven. Yeah, I will. I suppose that is just as legitimate an answer as build a giant cedar door or tell a story about yourself that people tell forever. Yeah, go to heaven. Death isn't the end. All right. Right? Equally sensical. Not heaven, the new creation. Right. The resurrection. A giant place where we all sing eternal praises to God. Sounds fun, I guess. I mean, wake up all day singing? Singing all day? to a divine presence which you are experiencing with every neuron of your being. Sounds kind of fun. It's a nice fantasy at the very least. It's worth imagining right now in this moment that we have here. Hey girl, hey. Hey Avi. Something changed in your life that you're able to be around a little more frequently? It's been nice to see you. What, 2 days in a row now? You were here on Friday too, yeah? I think it's time for Arati. Yes, something changed? What has changed? New job. What's your new job? It's time for Arati. Bells. You're graduating on Saturday. Congratulations, well. What's the job, Avi? Jaya Jayarati Vina Vinayaka Vina Vinayaka Shri Ganesha Jaya Jayarati Subramanya Subramanya Kartikeya Jaya Jayarati Venugopala Venugopala Venuola Papa Vidura Navanita Shora Jaya Jayarati Venkanta Ramana Venkanta Ramana Sankatarana Sita Rama Radhe Shama Jaya Jayarati Gauri Manohara Gauri Manohara Bhavani Sankara Samba Sadashiva Uma Maheshwara Jaya Jayarati Raja Rajeshwari Raja Rajeshwari Tripura Sundari Mahalakshmi Mahasaraswati Mahakali Mahashakti Jaya Jayarati Anjaneya Anjaneya Hanumanta Jaya Jayarati Dattatreya Dattatreya Trimurtiavatara Jaya Jayarti Adityaya Adityaya Bhaskaraya Jaya Jayarti Sanischaraya Sanischaraya Bhaskaraya Jaya Jayarti Sankarachaya Sankarachaya Advaita Gravi Jaya Jayarti Sadgurunata Sadgurunata Shivananda Jaya Jayarti Vishnu Devananda Vishnu Devananda Vishnu Devananda Jaya Jayarti Agastya Munaye Agastya Munaye Shriyama Priyaye Jaya Jayarti Ayapa Samine Ayapa Samine Dharma Shastave Jaya Jayarti Jesus Gurave Moses Gurave Buddha Gurave Jaya Jayarti Muhammad Gurave Guru Nanak Gurave Samastya Gurubho Namaha Jaya Jayarti Venugopala. Yeah, I assumed you were white with a name like Will in the Anglican Church, right? It's a very white church. That's, yeah, surprising. Natatra Suyobati Natanjakara Tamnima Vidyobati Kutoya Magni Tomeva Vantamanavandi Sarvam Tasya Basya Samidam Vivanti Om Gange Kayamane Kaiva Govari Saraswati Narmade Siddhikarvari Hiya Namastitam Namo Namaha. Excuse me, how did I have it in my head that you were Anglican? It's Andrew, right. Your name is not Will. I did know that. What denomination of church are you a part of? I will not forget this time. Tvameva mata chapita tvameva Tvameva bandusha saka tvameva Tvameva vidya javinam tvameva Tvameva sarvam mama deva deva Kayena vacha manasandriya urva Buddhyat manava prakrite sabhavad Karomi adyad sakalam prasmahi Narayana hiti sarmar payami Sarvadharmam pravichaya mamikam sabradam braja Am sva sarva papayo mokshaya mima sucha. whatever actions I perform with my body, speech, mind, senses, my nature, my intellect, or my emotions, all these I dedicate to you. To all of you. Thanks for spending this time with me. I like the long streams. 40 minutes is a good amount of time. I get to flirt more. So, we'll conclude with Kaddish. Prayer of Grief. Because, yeah, yes, I get to flirt with the trolls. Oh, the attention economy, Anis. The attention economy. I wish I could help you with the attention economy. I do not know how to win the game any better than you do. I just come here every day and say words. My reach is a lot smaller than you think it is right now. Like, much smaller. So we say Kaddish for all the things that give us pain. All the things that cause suffering. What is causing you suffering today, huh? I know a little bit. I'm sorry. Right? I suffer too. All of us, every single one of us, lives in fear and in pain. Because death is inevitable. Because people are assholes. Because the world is complicated. Because evolution does not necessarily select for your happiness. I love hanging out here too, Batya. And I love that you're here. Even though I'm pretty sure I say things that offend you sometimes. Like, I'm pretty sure. But you stick with me anyway. So, that's pretty great. So we say Kaddish. We say Kaddish to remind ourselves that that our suffering is normal. When have you ever been offended? Maybe I haven't offended you, well. Yes, you have. I remember when you joined the Discord server and you started posting in the What is Prayer channel, and then Sarah and I kind of jumped down your throat a little bit. I regret that slightly. Hello. Wow, look at that new jumpsuit. Would you like to model it for the internet, or would you like to stay anonymous?
No.
Okay.
But you do have better mirrors.
I do. I've got the best mirrors in the house.
You do.
Although I set up a nice mirror in the hallway. Did you notice?
Yeah, but it's not quite as nice as the mirrors up here.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna keep it.
Yeah, you should keep it.
Well, it might have been the wrong size.
That's true. No, it fits you great.
Yeah, I have my full.
Maybe the legs are a little long.
The legs are a little long, like literally.
Everything. That's why you roll up the cuffs, and then it makes you look like a lesbian.
Yes.
I've had a lot of interruptions today. Will, since when do you start speaking in Uwu? That doesn't strike me as your natural dialect. See, I could probably pull off talking in Uwu, but I don't usually. I'll respond back. Sometimes people flirt in Uwu with me, and I'll respond back that way, because I like that. More than I'd think, actually? Wait. Non sequitur. What is more than I'd think? I I'm sorry. It's very difficult for me to keep track of a chat and a person and what I'm trying to say at once. My mind is a little bit fragmented. That you use ooh more than you'd think. Oh. All right. Well, the things you learn about Will. Ooh. Yeah, maybe I should put some more custom ooh emojis. For the supporter blah blah blah. Now this is interesting. I have a bun in the back which is holding up the shawl in this very nice way. I'm into it. That's good. Okay. I'm sorry. This is unprofessional of me. Let's say Kaddish, because that's how we conclude. And I don't really want to conclude today, because I love you all a whole lot. But time to get up the mountain. Okay, so my psychology is so weird. I have this like unprofessional, right? Like I have this deep-seated psychological tick that like I need to be producing, that I need to be working, that I need to be perceived as like having all my shit together, right? And like that I shouldn't let all of the loose ends interfere with my goals. Even if the goal is to say mourner's Kaddish, right? Like, it's actually a neurosis, and I can witness it more as a neurosis now that I've like finished this degree and I've literally nothing to do, and I still have this meta pattern of like, oh, it's time for you to climb up the mountain. Like, you gave yourself this task, and you need to complete it diligently. Like, what? Like, I don't think I can just like. That's my cat, right? Can't I just go for a walk and like have it be leisurely without it being goal oriented? I don't think I can. I don't think my brain works like that. Read my room and go by that? Yeah. What a ragtag crew. Hi, cat. Hello. Hello. How are you doing? Hey. Hey, hey, hey. Hi, hi, hi. Kitty cat. So, say Kaddish for all the neuroses, all the sources of suffering, whether they are internal or external, whether they are sacred or profane. We live and we suffer, and we enjoy each other's company. So we say these words together that people have been saying. Oh my god. You're a black Presbyterian cat boy, now I know. I love it. I love it so much. Thank you, Will. A Kaddish for those who have not had the courage to embrace their identities the way that Will can. What a way to start the week. I love y'all too. Yeah, I bet Cybernetic Lagomorph would draw you a cool avatar. I love that you still call them Gomorph, even though you have been informed that actually it's rabbit themed. So for the last 2,500 years, my ancestors have said these words in response to death. And so we say them now in response to life. Yid Kadal, Vid Kadash, Shema Rabba. Bialma Divrachite, Viamlich, Malchite, Bachayachon, Vyamachon, Vchayde, Kolbe, Israel, Bagala, Visman Kari, Vimru, Amen. Yehe Shema Rabba, Mevarach, Lialam, Omei, Omaya, Yid Barach, Vishtabach, Vid Bar, Vid Ramam, Vid Nase, Vid Hadar, Vid Hale, Vid Halash, Shema de Kudasha, Barichu, Leila min Kol Birchata, Vishirata, Tushbechata, Venechemata, Demiran, Bialma, Vimru, Amen. Yehe Shlama Rabba, Min Shemaya, Vichaim, Alene, Vichol Israel, Vimru, Amen. Ose Shalom, Bimramav, Huya Ase Shalom, Alene, Vichol Israel, Vimru, Amen. Ose Shalom, Bimramav, Huyase Shalom Aleinu, V'alechol Yisrael, V'imru, V'imru. Amen. Thanks. Thanks for joining me today. Thanks for joining me every day. Thanks to the cats who oo at us in the night. Thank you. I'll be here tomorrow around this time, around 10:30. I'll be here. You can say these words again. And until then, check out the Discord server. You could subscribe on Patreon if you have some disposable income and want to be nice. And we will continue with the Epic of Gilgamesh and learn about how Enkidu dies. Yes, you are the only boy here. There's this peculiar thing about my audience. I don't know why. Like 80% of my followers are women. It perplexes me. Like, I really don't understand it. You are the stream's official cat boy. Yes, I'll give you a special pin. Particularly, like, this fact was sort of hammered home to me when Astrid visited me. You're a boy, Omar. That's true. Omar David Romero, that is a male name. But Astrid's subscriber profile was the opposite. She had like 70% male followers. Even though like the content we make is like fairly similar, like similar enough that I invited her to my university because it's like, hey, we're in the same niche, right? But no, even though we're in the same niche, radically different audiences. So that's wild. I don't know how the algorithm works. I wish I could tell you. Then I might have a different job. Or I'm going to learn. I'm going to make some films this month and start posting, and I'll let you know if I uncover any secrets about how to actually make art on the internet good. I'm going to go climb a mountain out of a sense of duty and obligation and joy. I'll see you tomorrow. I hope you all have a lovely day.